Hey, this is Coco Beware, and you're live and in color with Wolfie D. Sometimes love is like a slow dance. You can tiptoe around, but don't make a sound. You can make a little silent romance.
Hey, this is Jimmy Street, host of the Live and in Color with Wolfie D podcast. Hear the life and times of professional wrestler Wolfie D. From his time in the territories with PG-13 to his time in WWE, ECW, WCW, TNA, and more. Nothing is off limits and nothing will be held back. Thanks again for tuning in. Here he is, Wolfie D.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, this is Wolfie D, and you're listening to Live and in Color with Wolfie D. I've got man Jimmy across the street. He's across the line right now. What's going on, Jimmy?
What up, Wolfie D? How you doing today, brother?
Doing all right. Just having internet issues connecting there. It took us 20 minutes to figure out that my internet has problems right now. So
yeah.
Find a setting on my phone that would allow Jimmy kept coming through blocked and all kinds of mess. Oh.
I was like, bro, did you block me? That's not cool. What did I do?
And to me?
It's always funny when you're on social media and you like haven't seen somebody post in a while, and then you go to their page and it says add friend. And I'm like, huh.
Yeah. Did they unfriend me?
Is it like that? Okay, if it's like that, it's like that. So, funny thing is, speaking of the internet, so my brother, Jared, down the street, he does our shorts for us, or he'll do videos for us. And then it actually led me to want to make reels and shorts. So if you see Chic's shorts on YouTube, know that, that's part of the team here. So anyway, he'll make one and boom, it's like 2,000 immediately, like overnight, 2,000. I make one 43. and dude, do you ever get in the rabbit hole of those shorts? Because I feel like right now it's like it's corn thing. Yeah. And then it's our recent one with Butterbeans doing really well. I like those where we take a little clip of the show and kind of put some pictures to it. And
right.
I don't know.
I do too.
I guess I'm patting myself on the back there. I should probably just stop, but very
good job, Jimmy.
Oh, thank you, Wolfie D. That's what I do this for is your approval. But I do want you to like it, obviously. The name on the show, I want the approval.
From the D.
Yeah.
Oh, not D. No, we don't.
Yeah, no. From the Wolfie. So speaking of Wolfie D, man, you've been killing it with these pictures of your yard, bro. Are the neighbors just like tapped out now? They're like, we can't.
They put their little stuff up, but most of their stuff is like cute Halloween. I don't do cute Halloween.
Right.
Still want to build some more stuff, but man, it's expensive to do sometimes, especially when I get on a roll. I'm not satisfied with just the bare minimum. I got to get a lot of detail and all that kind of stuff. But these are my first attempts at this, and I've watched a lot of tutorials on YouTube of how to make these props and things like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, now, I'm learning as I go. Now I get it. Now I could probably, you've seen my tree, but I could have done so much better.
I mean, bro, I think you won't settle until it's actually spitting real blood on the human, on the trick-or-treaters.
Yeah. We saw one. There's one tutorial how to make you take a trash can and one of those skeletons that everybody's got now, the big skeletons, and you can actually you wire it up with a pump and make him throw up in this trash can over and over and over like a little water fountain.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Cool.
That is cool, dude. I can't imagine. I can't imagine that, but that's super cool, man. Yeah. I love this. I can't say, we put our little pumpkin out, that kind of thing, but I can't say we Wolfie D it, but hey, nobody can Wolfie D it,
Hey, one year when my daughter, she's 30 now, right? And so she was probably 8 or something. And I dressed up in this big, I think I might have used my Slash jacket or something like that, but just I forget what kind of mask, but anyway, dressed up, big menacing.
Ominous. I like that. It's ominous and menacing, right? I love it.
I put them together.
Yeah.
But anyway, and we put blood on her and everything, and I had a shovel, and I'd throw her over my shoulder as the trick-or-treaters would come up and just go walking after them. And, man, they would take off running half the time. Because I can't remember where we put something that looked like I had a hole dug or something like that. But anyway, just her being thrown over my shoulder limp and me walking after them with a shovel.
That's amazing. Yeah. Cinematic.
Yeah.
That's it. Dude, you're doing a lot there, and you're doing that in the yard of a very special lady, and I think it's a special day for her. Now, of course, we know our show drops on Monday at noon everywhere you listen to podcasts, but we do record before then, and we are recording as she is out running errands. So would you like to wish her a happy birthday?
Yeah, happy birthday to my baby, Michelle. Yeah, man. She's my rock, man. She's my handler, dude.
Hey, and you couldn't have a better one, honestly.
I don't know that I could live without a handler as good as her.
Hey, dude, and good for you and good for her. Happy birthday from the Live and in Color, Miss Michelle, Miss Diamond Sparkles,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that pretty much tops it, bro. I think let's go ahead. So today, you started a series a little while ago. It was called Top 10 Best Punchers. And, I'm a series guy. You're a gimmicks guy. I'm a series guy. And I'm all about some series. So this is the second part of that series, the top 10. And this one is interesting because, the last one was best punchers and we got that figured out. But now the wording we've kind of tried to figure out on this one is top 10 worst wrestling moves. Are we settling on that, or you want something different?
Yeah, that covers a pretty good umbrella there, because a couple of mine, first of all, I guarantee there's at least two on there that people are going to go, "What? Are you crazy?
Are you crazy?"
But that's okay. And then a couple are kind of things. So you'll see as we go.
It's cool. Yeah. Yeah.
So
it all makes sense.
A little bit differently done, but we'll do it just like we did the punches. We'll explain it and we'll talk about it. We come with the top 10 worst moves.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
Hey folks, to get your official Live and in Color with Wolfie D merchandise, go to prowrestlingtees.com/live Wolfie D. Check it out.
If you're listening to Live and in Color with Wolfie D on Apple Podcast and like what you're hearing, go ahead and leave a 5-star rating. And while you're at it, write a review. Tell us what you liked. Tell us what you'd like to hear in the future. It's very important to us and always appreciated. Thanks again.
All right, we're back. And again, this is going to be the top 10 worst moves. And I mean, let's just get right into it. And I'll go first.
Yeah, go. Yeah,
save all the hoo-ha and everything. All right, so my number 10 move, and I will explain why, is not really the move itself, but the way the person did it. So my number 10 worst move is Lex Luger's torture rack.
Oh.
I will tell you why. Because the majority of the time, and I know why, because he was picking up some big dudes most of the time, but he had them on their side, almost over onto their 3/4 stomach sometimes.
Okay.
The bend was on their side. The bend was not, because you got to, in my opinion, to make that move look right, you roll them over to where their back is parallel with the mat.
Yeah.
Bend them, grab the chin, grab the knee, bend them. He wouldn't do that. They were on their side, and it didn't look like it hurt to me. But and knowing the physics and how to lift on that move, I get it, because like I said, he was picking up some heavy guys, and you got to start it at least that way,
right,
to get that much weight up there. And then once you roll them back, then it really throws off your balance if they're too heavy. So I get why he did it, I think, but he did it most of the time big or small. So that's my number 10.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I get what you're saying. I was never a crazy, big, awesome Lex Luger fan anyway. Totally respect him. But, you know, once again, I've never been. And honestly, he picked up some gigantic MFers.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the biggest son of bitches I've ever seen.
But yeah, I get it. It did look kind of like he was just bending them some way that was normal. I mean, I guess that's the way you got to do it, and it works. I mean, could you theoretically do it a better way, like, and make it work with somebody like the Giant or Roadkill? Or
no way. There's no way.
Yeah.
You have to have him too much up on your shoulders like that, and his weight couldn't. The physics of that would be, if his weight started shifting backwards, y'all are going down with that much weight.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah. And I mean, we know he was a stout son of a gun. Yeah. Well, hey, I get that. And I think that makes a great number 10. So my number 10 is going to probably be very controversial. Okay. It's the Whirly Byrd. No, I'm just kidding. I love the Whirly Byrd. It's fun. Super Kick. All right. I love Shawn Michaels' Sweet Chin music, but I cannot stand that now the Super Kick is like a hope spot, essentially. It means nothing. It actually, I think, exposes the business a little bit, you know. My problem is it's regular signature move for people now.
It's almost a punch.
It is, man. It really is. And I love that move. I thought it was really cool. I think, you know, like Stan Lane was probably the first person that I saw do a somewhat super kick, which I think is like a crescent kick or something. Yeah. But he kind of did it in a stomach deal. Yeah. And then Shawn Michaels took it higher to the chin. And is he really even getting near the chin? Who knows?
Didn't Chris Adams?
You're right. I'm sorry. Chris Adams actually did that as well. My bad. You're right. I think Chris Adams may have invented it technically. So, yeah, good call on that. But anyway, Super Kick is my number 10. Obviously, we know why. That's it, you know.
I agree with you. It's totally overused now, and everybody thinks theirs looks great. And I got news for them. They don't, or they and all that. Yeah. Well, I might swap that one just to. No, I'm not. I'm going with what I got. I'm numbered at. All right, so my number 9 shittiest move is the European uppercut. That move, I think it looks like shit, and I just don't like it. I think when normal people see that, they think that the person is trying to throw an actual uppercut punch and they're missing. So I can see your average fan going, look at that. He's not even hitting him. But in reality, he's trying to hit him with the upper arm and everything. But I don't give a shit. I know some of them are stiff. They just look fucking stupid.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you don't even like Regals?
No, I don't.
I love it.
Move, period. I wish it was taken away. Wrestling.
I love it. Shots fired. Shots fired. Okay, first of all, I totally respect your opinion on that. I have never thought about it from that perspective. Yeah. But now that I see your point on that, I probably will never see that move the same way.
Yeah.
And I think you're onto something there. Maybe that's why you have the 30-year career and I don't, is because you see things that have holes in them. And man, that makes sense. Now, do I think that William Regal is probably a great, you know, thrower of that move?
Yeah.
But
as good as it can look. But
yeah. Hey, I respect that, man. Absolutely. So that's a great one. All right. So my number 9 is going to probably be similarly controversial. It's the mandible claw, Mick Foley. I'm sorry. I mean, dude, here's the thing. Recently, if you go to the dentist, okay, and you have something wrong, they used to have this little bite down thing that you would go in there when you got an x-ray, and it wasn't too bad. Now they have this whole thing, and dude, I have a horrible gag reflex, bro. I mean, you know, hey, never mind. I'm not going to go down that path. I have a horrible gag reflex. So if anything touches like my mid tongue that shouldn't be there, I'm gagging, man. So I think God
shouldn't be there.
Yeah, shouldn't be there. So God bless me with that, I think. So yeah, Mick Foley's mandible claw. I don't ever want anybody's fingers, especially at the end of a match, in my mouth.
I know that you just wouldn't want to take it, or you think it looks dumb. You think the move doesn't look like it works, or
I mean, it's a classic take on a nerve hold, basically. Yeah, is that the deal?
I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't like it.
Got their fingers in your mouth and squeeze like that, it would hurt.
Dude, I'm sure it's effective. I just don't. I mean,
put those fingers under the tongue.
Yeah.
And your thumb, you could probably physically feel your fingers touch through the skin. I guarantee it. So if somebody did have good hand strength and held you down and did that,
right,
it hurt. You know what I'm saying? It might hurt pretty good. I agree that it's kind of hokey or whatever, but
I'm biting the shit out of your fingers too.
You just don't want to take the mandible claw.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, do you?
No, not necessarily.
I mean, love
I
you
would
to death,
like,
Nick,
man,
but come on.
As long as you don't go past the halfway point of my tongue, we're cool.
Boy, don't get in that gag region, bro, or I'm throwing up. Yeah. So, okay, just imagine this. You honestly think about it this way. Who's this? Let's just name a guy that's the stink. You know who this is, but you don't have to name them. We're going to name him Joe Blow, and he's the stinkiest, nastiest, dirtiest dude that you've ever worked. And they don't wash their gear. They leave it in their bag. They're stank.
Yeah.
You're in a 30-minute match with them, and then at the very end of that, they stick their fingers in your mouth.
Yeah. With a sock on it, right?
Or whatever. Yeah.
With a sock that has been in his neck.
Yeah. His pants.
Well, here's what I would do. I would, if I knew I had to work that person or an angle with them, I'd go to the Walmart and get a pack of socks. Say, here, I want you to use this one on. that would cure all that.
Pull it out of my pocket instead of beside your cock.
Yeah, I'll act like I stole it from you before the match.
Oh my God!
Place this clean sock next to your cock and then put it in my mouth. Just don't go past the middle.
Just not the middle. I'll puke.
Yeah. All right, man.
Oh my God.
All right, we're at number 8.
Yes, number 8.
My number 8 shittiest move, and I know a lot of people like this move, it's popular now, the Canadian Destroyer.
Oh.
It looks like you're giving it to yourself.
You are. It is it not that way? You are. Yeah.
I have not seen it done in a fashion that looks like that person did not do that to themselves.
And dude, Ricky Morton's doing that move.
Yeah.
You know? Like, yeah. And then what about old dude, Damian Wayne? He's now what's his name? John Wayne Murdoch, which I'm not saying that I named him that, but I told him that he should use a Murdoch last name because he looked like Dick Murdoch. Yeah, so I'm just saying I was his manager at the time when he made the change. Mm-hmm. And hey, it is what it is. But he did it off a damn building. You're right. There's no way you can take it to not make it look like you're doing it to yourself.
Exactly.
Petey Williams is the king of that move. I'll give him props, but now it's kind of a super kick deal, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. And I mean, I get the setup ain't right. I hate the moves where it looks like you're working together to do the move. If you can't make it look like you're doing it to them, it's not really a fucking move. Yeah. Even unless you have superpowers, okay? Then you could pull off a Canadian Destroyer. A superhero could, an Avenger, whatever.
Right.
But a person can't do that move.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Have you ever done it or taken it? I mean, not done it, but taken it.
Neither.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I got nothing to say to that. I do enjoy the P.D. Williams Canadian Destroyer, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go to my number 8, and that is the Worm. I freaking hate that move. I appreciate that someone can do that. Heck, dude, you and I, we came up in the breaking and breakdancing era.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you and I were two B-boys out on the street on cardboard, but I'm not saying you weren't. I'm just saying I just hate the Worm. I appreciate that Scotty Hottie ripped off y'all's gimmick. I'm sorry that Scotty Too Hottie did that move in the ring, and I get it, but it just felt to me, again, so hokey. Yeah. What are you?
I agree that is one of the top 10 shittiest moves.
Okay.
And the reason I don't like it, and the thing is, the move is over. It is over. Like
Totally.
No taking that away from it.
No, not at all.
It's smart. And then, it's the setup takes forever, and you got to make the dude lay there forever. I hate the moves that take that long.
Me too.
And also, all that build up to a fucking chop.
Yeah.
A double chop or whatever it was. God, I don't know, man. I love Scotty to death, man. Like I said, the main thing is the move is fucking over. I mean, there's no
totally
one of the most moves of the Attitude Era, man.
Absolutely, yeah.
Take that away, but I just think it looks dumb.
yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, is there a finish to that you could make the Worm better, in your opinion? Other than the 2 chops, I mean,
stronger fucking drop of some sort, whatever you're dropping there.
Yeah,
but also, like I said, it's the setup that takes so long, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Brian would have been there to, like, hold their wrist and put his foot on their chest or something, and like hold them down or some shit, but not just have them laying there like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
So what was it? That was your number 8?
Yeah, that was my number 8. Yeah.
All right. So I'm at 7. All righty. Number 7. We're going back to the TBS days. One move and this is before I got in the business, and I hated it then and I hate it now. The Garvin Stomp.
Ooh.
I never liked it.
Okay.
You literally have to sit there and give each body part as he goes around your body, and I just think I don't want to say his stomps were weak, but just do it, and it just didn't look good to me. And I'm sorry, and I appreciate Ronnie Garvin. I think he was great, and respect the shit out of him. I didn't like the move.
I mean, wow, I loved the Garvin Stomp, but I get what you're saying. Okay, so I don't know. I think it's just a nostalgia thing for me because, as I've said a million times, I'm a Mid-Atlantic guy, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But, dude, when he used to stomp, I mean, I get it because my brother and I would do the Garvin Stomp to my brother. Anyway, hey, look, I get it. In the match.
I think the part that I didn't like, and I saw it a little bit then, but just I think I've explained this to you, like when you kick, okay, when you stomp, when you kick to the gut, when you stomp somebody, whatever. I always taught my guys, anybody that I trained, to get the foot in there, boom. Once you make contact, get that motherfucker away real quick. It's like a reflex thing, like boom, boom. Get it out there with some sort of over animation or something.
Okay.
Ron would stomp them, and the foot stayed in that spot.
Okay.
To me, that stomp. And next time you watch people kick like that, do stomps, watch the ones, especially like the repeated, like Stone Cold's in the corner and stuff. He's getting it in there and getting it out real quick instead of leaving it there.
Yeah.
So that's, to me, that makes it look weaker. And you or the listeners pay attention to that on stomps and kicks. If the foot stays there, it's not going to look as good.
Yeah. So I was a manager in the Nashville scene, as a lot of people have heard me say, again, my same old spiel. And I had a guy down outside of the ring. And the deal was he said, kick me. And I said, okay. And Jason James was doing the call for Saw at the time. It might have been Jason James. Hot Rod Biggs, Jimmy Straight is up to something tonight. Anyway, is that a pretty good Hot Rod?
It's pretty good. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so Jason James came to me after the match and he said, if you can't kick any better than that, never do that again. And I said, okay, that's fine. And I think what it was is I was too afraid to connect. I didn't know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you didn't know exactly.
Yeah, I wasn't, and it was true, so. Yeah. Props to you, Jason. I appreciate that. So long story short, I get it. But what I think Ron was trying to do by you're saying leaving the foot there is to try to make it look like he made this contact. And I don't know.
Yeah, but
I respect it.
Yeah. Shows the lightness of the kick because think about it. If I stomp your stomach and I leave it there, my foot should not be lightly resting on your stomach. Right. Be down. There should be skin. You know what I'm saying? Sinking in.
Yeah.
So that's why get it out of there real quick.
Yeah, you may have opened my eyes to something that I hadn't seen. So anyway,
two today, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm today years old. So my number 7, it's a move called the Playmaker, and it's MVP's the Playmaker. Mm-hmm. And have you ever seen this move?
I don't know.
So he's got him bent over. There's no, I think, legitimate name for this, like a German suplex, whatever, hybrid. He's got him bent over. He puts his leg over the back of their head, his right leg over the back of their head, and he like interlocks their hands. And then he kind of does what was the honky tonk move? It was like the shake, rattle, and roll.
Spinning neck breaker.
Yeah, well, he does like a modified neck breaker, but with his leg and their hands, like he's got their hands out, and it's like their right arm is like
he do a front flip.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Dude, it's just so much. It's like the worm. It's just too much. Your finisher, in my opinion, unless it's like a series of moves, your finisher should be able to be put on to anybody, and it shouldn't take 20 minutes, right? Anyway,
picking out a good finisher is that you don't think early on. I didn't anyway. Is thinking about, I can only do this to certain guys. Only certain to be able to do this move with me, or take it good, and like that.
Yeah. So we were joking the other night, and I said, I'm going to say the Whirly Bird and make a joke about it. And you were like, what was your finisher? And I was like, I get your point. I'll shut up. I really love the Whirly Bird. It was a total joke, but it was funny that you said that. Yeah.
I love giving it. If I threw him, man, that looks nasty when they land.
It does, dude. It's a beautiful move. It really is.
Taking it. Ha.
Yeah. That was an Al Perez move?
Yeah, I took that from Al Perez.
Well, I'm a Gary Hart guy, and, Al Perez, obviously. So, Al Perez, man, that we could do an episode of what if Al Perez, why did that not work out? I know why it didn't work out, actually. Have you ever heard why?
No, I have not.
Basically, he went up to WWF and he got hit on by some guys and didn't really enjoy that and left. It's a shame. He was really good. So anyway, number 6 for you.
My number 6. It's another TBS before I got in the business, and it's another Garvin. This time it's gorgeous Jimmy Garvin's Shitty Brainbuster.
Oh yes, I agree. Wow.
And I would cringe when they would show it back in slow-mo. Stop it. Why are y'all doing this? Who can the director not see what's going on here? Don't ever show that in slow motion. Totally. I couldn't agree more. That's a hard move to pull off without killing somebody. When Coco used to do it, I think I might have took it from him once or something, but Coco would make it look fucked up, and I'm telling you that move's dangerous, man. Yeah. But I see what Jimmy was doing. He was just super protecting his guys.
Right.
Man, they were missing the mat by a long shot, and you could see it, man. It just looked bad, especially in slow-mo.
Yeah, and they would always slow-mo it,
Yeah.
Look at him, Tony. Look at him. That's my David Crockett impression. Look at him, Tony. Look at him. Anyway, Yeah, but seriously, and nothing against Jimmy Garvin because Jimmy's a great wrestler. Yeah. But you're right. There was a hole in that. But again, the point being is I think you're right. He was trying to keep him safe. But yeah.
And totally respect that. Totally respect him. But this is just a list of moves I don't like. And I don't respect like the wrestler or think they're good, or even that the move, like we said, the worm over like a motherfucker, but it's just silly.
Yeah, it is.
Everybody has a choice. Everybody has their own taste, as everybody says now.
Right.
We're allowed to have our own kind of wrestling.
And that offends me. Okay, so my number 6, and this one has been recently, maybe even banned. I'm not sure, but the overhead belly to belly suplex. Again, it hurt Big E recently, the guy throwing it. Obviously, it didn't mean it, but the way that you explained it to me is the guy really has to tuck early and really go because, like a big guy throwing it on a big guy, dude. I mean, Scott Steiner could throw it, but, to throw Big E, first of all,
and it's got the strength to do it.
Yeah.
And, that whoever's taking it knows how to take that move. But as far as a shitty move, I wouldn't put that on my list because I think it looks good. And I think it's not like if it's done correctly, it doesn't look like an impossible to do move. It doesn't look like the other guy to me is helping. I mean, it just looks like a hard throw. And I mean, moves like that I've taken from guys that are really strong. So to me, I think it looks good. I just don't. I see that it can be dangerous.
Yeah.
As far as calling it one of the shitty moves, that would be one that I would disagree with.
Well, the official name is top 10 worst, not shittiest. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Whatever.
Same thing. I get it. I get what you're saying. I guess my thing on it is, hey, look, hurt the dude. I don't know. I just think the possibility of current guys getting hurt with this move, I don't know. That was my thinking on it. You're right. It's not a bad move. It looks beautiful when it's done correctly, but
But that's why these top 10s are good, because we both have different takes on things and the way we're looking at it, and that's why we are able to explain our thoughts on why we put it there. And that's what this is for.
That's what this is for. I think you're exactly right. So how about this? Let's take a quick break, listen to some commercials, and we'll be right back. You cool with that?
Let's do it.
After these messages.
Let's take a quick time out and get a word from one of my dope-ass sponsors, and we'll be right back with more Live and in Color with Wolfie D.
With threats to our nation waiting around every corner, adaptability is more important than ever. When conditions change without notice, quick strategic thinking is crucial. And with obstacles consistently impending, determination is essential in overcoming them. It's this willingness, decisiveness, and resilience that sets Marines apart. With our fighting spirit, we don't just fight battles, we win them. Marines are the constant our nation counts on to fight the unknown. And through adaptable problem solving, we do just that. Learn more at marines.com.
Support for Live and in Color with Wolfie D is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped recently launched the Ultimate Men's Hygiene Bundle, the Performance Package. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code WOLFIE at manscaped.com. If my math's correct, that's about 8 million balls.
Getting engaged is a moment worth cherishing. A one-of-a-kind ring that you design at Blue Nile can help your love sparkle. Just choose your diamond and setting. When you've found the one, you'll get it delivered right to your door. Finding the right engagement ring can be nerve-wracking. At Blue Nile, you'll have the expert guidance needed and a diamond guarantee that ensures you're getting the highest quality at the best price. Cherish all of life's moments and save up to 30% at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com.
Hey folks, this is Wolfie D here, and if you are looking to buy or sell a home in Tennessee or Southern Kentucky, you're going to want to call my buddy, the rock star realtor, Benji Bowie. And you say, Wolfie, how do I get in touch with this rock star? Well, you can call him directly at 615-390-8216. You can go to his website, bowiehomes.com. That's B-U-I-E homes.com. Or you can email him at benbowie34@gmail.com. When you need a home, you need the Rockstar Realtor.
Benji is a member of Exit Realty's Garden Gate team in Gallatin, Tennessee.
All right, we're back with top 10 worst wrestling moves. Wolfie D, we've got the number 5 through 1 now. So why don't you give us your number 5?
All right, my number 5 is, it's not really a move, but it kind of is. It goes along part of a move. So I call this, look up in the sky. No, look up in the sky. It's Byrd. Keep looking. It's a plane. Keep looking. It's my opponent flipping over the top rope.
Oh.
I have watched him for 5 minutes as he prepares to do so.
That's awesome.
Because it is a pandemic, an epidemic. A paramedic. I don't know. It is all things in wrestling right now. Motherfuckers looking up and still miss them.
Yeah. Totally.
It's like what happened? Is it baseball? Did he get lost in the sun? What the fuck happened?
Totally. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's definitely in the top 10 of worst wrestling moves, 100%. Whether they call it suicide dive or tope el suicido or whatever, dude. Yeah. And the conglomeration.
It's just 3 or 4 or 5 guys, and they're all doing it together.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. And it's like his tag team partners down there and then 2 other guys. And I'll take out my buddy. It's like, would you ever in a match say, I'll just take Jamie out with these guys? I mean, you may have wanted to at some point, but at the same time, I'm going to go.
A spot where I would, let's see. He would jump last.
Yeah.
Forget how we did that. But anyway, we'd catch him and then the other one would come and take out all 4 of us. But I forget that up. But anyway.
Yeah.
They're doing it, man. Dude, a couple of guys can have their fucking backs turned the entire time. And the guys that are facing who's ever coming can go the last minute, you know?
Right.
But you don't have to be facing that way. It's like fucking work together, man. But don't make it look like you're working together.
Do you think people are just so used to other people sucking? Do you see what I'm saying? They really are like so many people. Yeah.
You know, this is how you do it. This is how we do it now.
That we just all stand together in a little crowd, sing Kumbaya. So yeah, screw it. My number 5 is the exact same thing. The suicide dive. Hate this move. It could have been number 1 for me. I can't stand it. I cannot stand the current crop of telegraphed wrestling. It makes me want to puke. The clothesline they're throwing as you're running the ropes, and they do it like, you know, we've talked about this. This has been something I've talked about from the start of this show, where they like basically Sin Bodhi said it best, where they're rubbing their knuckles on the ceiling because they're not trying to actually hit them. But again, that's not in this. This is one of the moves though. The suicide dive, hot garbage. Can't stand it. We need to stop it. I think there needs to be a suicide dive moratorium. They can keep it down in AAA in Mexico. Okay.
Now, when you say suicide dive, you're saying the through the ropes, right?
Through the ropes. Flip over the ropes. I don't care. Whatever it is.
Okay. Anything off the top.
Right. Doesn't matter.
Anything where there's got to be somebody catching you down there.
Exactly. Now, the Macho Man axe handle off the top to the outside. I love that.
Oh,
that's a different story. Yeah. But this one, the flip over, jumping through. I don't care what it is. I hate it. So, it's garbage.
But you hate it probably because of what I said. The catchers.
Totally.
Can't fucking do it right. So it makes the move look stupid.
Yes. Yeah.
They do look great, man, if done correctly.
Yeah. So, okay, let me tell you a funny story about a suicide dive or a jump to the outside to be, you have to catch somebody. So I'm maybe working my 5th show ever in Nashville, and we were actually in Lewisburg, Kentucky at a spot show for this company or whatever, or it wasn't a spot show. I don't know why I would call it a spot show. You know what I'm saying? But we were up in Lewisburg, Kentucky, and this very stocky gentleman, we'll say, who did not have very quick feet. He was kind of a big old lump of clay, and he jumps out to us. And in Nashville or the Indies, wherever, the options of very skinny dudes and very fat dudes and some muscular dudes and some, there's a mixture of all. And a lot of times they all get put together in a match. And this guy, I was managing a skinny guy, against this larger, slow-footed guy who thought he knew everything and was great, So he runs out, jumps through the ropes, and me and skinny dude are supposed to catch big.
Me and skinny dude.
Me and skinny are trying to catch lump of clay, and basically lump of clay comes out and hurts himself or thinks he hurts himself because we don't fully catch him because he falls through us because he weighs like 400 pounds, So here we go into the back, and he keeps talking. People shouldn't be doing this if they're not trained. And I'm like, dude, I said, hey, if you want to talk to me about something, tell them to my face. Don't say this and generalize and say these untrained morons. I said, bro, I never told you I could catch you. I never said that. So you called that move, and I was there. That's all it was. So if you were mad because you fell through us, don't do that move or do it with other people. And he was like, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about somebody else. I'm like, okay. So I said it. I brought it to your face, and you said it wasn't you. But anyway, sorry about that, y'all. That was me venting. Yeah. Anyway, I hate that move.
All right. So number 4 for me.
Yes.
Again, this falls in the category of a lot of moves, mostly super kicks, but the slap happy bullshit.
Oh yeah,
going on, and I've done it every now and then. I throw a right and throw a slap with it, but just not every fucking time on every fucking move. I've even done it on the kick before, and it's one where you football punt them in the ribs. I've done that before, but I only did it once.
Yeah,
not in the same match, and I didn't even use that move a lot. Slapping, and if you could do it and not, the people are just smart to it now. Even they know it's a fucking rib,
Oh, totally.
And I mean, motherfuckers are slapping on drop kicks and shit. I mean, pretty soon they're gonna be like fake spitting at each other and slapping their leg. Or the first guy will slap and make the motion that he's spitting, and the other guy's gonna react and slap his leg. Pow! Then it hit him in the face really hard.
Yeah.
That's next.
Didn't you say Lawler was really good at it though? His slap.
Yeah, he could hide it really good and on certain things. He didn't do it on his. He didn't do it on any of his punches, or his kicks, or his stuff. He was doing it for you.
Right. Totally. Yeah, that makes sense. And I just think it's impressive, the one that you can never see it. I mean, the way Shawn Michaels would do the slap on the leg with his super kick, it was in the motion and it was just really smooth, and you couldn't really, some guys are like almost slap then kick kind of thing. They're like, I got to get my slap in, So
yeah, I got to get my slap in before
I got to get my slap in while I get my shit in. So.
It was a reel or something on Facebook, and I kept watching it because it was the real quick clip, and it was like somebody goes up to kick somebody off the apron, and I swear it was smacking before the foot got there. I know it was, but
probably. Yeah,
I'm sure. But that's my number 4, man. Slap happy.
Okay, well, hey, and that should be on my list, but I'm gonna go with the ones I wrote down. Number 4, hate it, always have, hate the spear. I cannot stand the spear. Never liked Goldberg. I recognize that it's something that makes sense and works, but just never been a big fan of the spear. I think it's overused. I don't know. Again,
I agree with you on the overuse of it.
Yeah.
And, I really don't like the fact that Edge uses it. He's a big, tall dude, but when I see him, I don't, he's going to run over me like a rhino. Now, when I see Goldberg, it's different. And his intensity and everything, the way he did it,
was cool. You know, I thought.
Totally. Yeah.
And he was hitting you. You could tell that motherfucker was hitting people.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the thing about the spear is, again, it's one of those moves where the person taking it can make it look either good,
right,
make it look great. I think it's hard to make it look like shit, but people that took it differently, and I'm trying to think if I've even worked anybody that ever did that move. I'm sure I have, and I don't know how I would take it or anything. I think I would take it okay, but there's some that take it weird, and I don't know. It's a weird move because it's a football tackle, basically, is what they're trying to get at, you know.
Totally. And that's right. I get what you're saying on the spear. It's got to be hit strong. I definitely don't like Edge's version of it. You know, Roman Reigns obviously uses it.
Yeah.
He's a little more believable, but the best person I think I've ever seen take it is Raven, man.
Think of it in my head, but I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah, Goldberg hit him with it. It's when he won the U.S. title from Raven. And Raven literally bent where he should have at the waist, and he was like, it was like Goldberg was carrying him over his shoulder. It was great. So, but I don't know. I just don't dig it, and I think Edge maybe killed it for me. So,
could be.
Yeah. Anyway,
so number 3.
Yes, sir.
3. Once again, we've already talked about it. It was on your list, and number 3 for me was the Worm. I mean, we've been into what we thought about it on each side, so there's really no reason to go too much further into that other than we agree on that move.
Yeah, it's what it is, man. So number 3 for me is, and there's 2 moves in this because it's very similar. It's a tie, is Rikishi's stink face and Sean Waltman's Bronco Buster.
Yeah.
The asshole to the face, I mean, he's got some thick cheeks, and you know, if you're lucky, you might have had a female near your face like that. And the Bronco Buster and the stink face, dude. Oh my gosh. I mean, have you ever had to take one of those?
I don't think so.
I mean, God. Yeah, dude, Rikishi. I mean, I just hope that man has some good hygiene, you know.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, but I still wouldn't want his asshole on my face.
No, never. So yeah, I mean, the stink face or the Bronco Buster, which is the cock in the face. I'm just not a fan of any. You know, I mean, I get it. There's times you probably even have to just have your hand on the junk because that's how you grabbed, and you can't really position and make it look good. But there's things that are going to happen in a wrestling match that just happen. But to have a finisher with your ass to my face, I'm just never going to enjoy that, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, Quiche.
Completely understand. Wouldn't be real thrilled if I knew I had to take that. No, I'm eating a bagel, so.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I wouldn't want to take that one. Literally.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was your number 3, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. My number 2 is the one that's really going to make everybody go, what? Are you fucking crazy, Wolfie? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Number 2 is the people's elbow.
Oh, yes.
It's a lot like the Worm in the way that the setup is so long. And again, I know it's over. I know he's over. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't like the move. It takes so long to set up and to end it with one of the shittiest elbow drops ever.
Yes.
I hate that elbow drop. He is landing on his back and just boop, touching him with the back of his arm.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Now, Muda used to do that same style, but it looked good.
Right.
He did really good. I'm sorry, The Rock don't do it like Muda did it.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, and I loved Muda. I didn't 100% care for it then, but he did it so fast it made it more sense.
Oh, dude, like a lightning bolt, you know.
The people's elbow is just it's anticlimactic in my opinion. For me, anyway. I know people pop and all that, but I don't know. That little bitty elbow after all that, and plus the rock bottom looks stronger than the fucking elbow. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Why would you not go with that? I mean, but seriously.
The theory is that the rock bottom knocked him out so much that he's able to stand there and
his little gimmick. And
yeah,
I mean, is that like him trying to have Hogan's leg drop? Is that?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, we can't deny the fact that the shit's over and he's over. That's elementary, my dear Watson. But
yeah.
It just looks dumb to me.
I agree. And that's not what we're saying. It's over for sure. So just like your number 2 is the People's Elbow, my number 2 is another tie. And it's the People's Elbow. No kidding. That's on my paper. And the 5-knuckle shuffle, which is the same thing. Essentially, except it's a punch. Yeah. And Cena does his little shoulder shuffle, boom, punch deal. Yeah. It's the same overall. I mean, it's kind of like the Worm too. All that setup, all that flashy setup for a finisher that, is just, 2 chops from the Worm, the elbow from the People's Elbow, and a punch from the 5-knuckle shuffle. I mean, first of all, if you stopped yourself and said, what is a 5-knuckle shuffle?
1, 2,
3, 4. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I don't like the People's Elbow. It is legitimately my number 2, but it is in a tie with John Cena, his 5-knuckle shuffle. What
that's why it's so effective, because he has 5 knuckles on the top of his hand instead of 4, and that's the knockout blow.
Sure. So yeah. Effective. Okay. Do you like the 5-knuckle shuffle?
Is that it? That's not his finish. He uses that other thing for the finish, right? That's his setup or something.
That's like his setup. It's almost like it punches and brings them up or something. You know what I'm saying? I never liked those moves either that made him.
But doesn't he do his little can't see me right before he does it?
Yeah, you can't see you. Yeah,
and it's a little bit like, isn't it a little bit in the style of Hawk's jumping punch?
Well. Yeah, but not. Yeah, it is. You're right. It is Hawk's jumping punch, but yeah, it's all that bullshit before it, So
and it's not screeching down there.
It's not well. It's not Hawk. Yeah. So how, let me just ask you about Hawk. What would Hawk call you? Would he call you Wolfie? Or would he call?
Yeah.
Yeah. He would just say Wolfie, and hey, Wolfie. Yeah. Okay.
That's what there's hardly anybody that would call me anything besides that.
Like Kelly or whatever. They don't call you none of that. They call you Wolfie. I mean,
Kelly. Anybody that calls me Kelly really doesn't know me.
Yeah.
Because they see they've looked it up on Wikipedia or something. They see that's my first name. And so then they try to, when they walk up to me at the gimmick table or something, hey, Kelly, how you doing?
Yeah.
If you call me Kelly, you don't know me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went by Warren. That is my middle name.
Yeah.
And I went by Warren up until, I guess high school. And I still went by Warren then, but a lot of people started calling me Wolf or Wolfie or whatever because I started. So anyway, but everybody in wrestling quickly, my name became Wolfie, and that was that.
let me say something, because that's a great point, and I want to bring that up. All right, so I'm a co-host on another show with my brother called Gimme Back My Pro Wrestling. We recently had Greg Gagne on. That is out now. Go listen to it after you listen to all of our shows first. But after that, coming up on October 13th, we got to interview Magnum TA about his involvement in this Powertown Wrestling toy line that he's got coming out. So when I normally, when I meet somebody, you've heard me talk to many legends here. I said Mr. Kern, Mr. Sullivan, I always introduce myself, Jimmy, hey, Mr. Sullivan, and then I let them say, hey, call me this. But with Magnum TA, it's not like I'm going to call him Mr. TA or Mr. Magnum. Or it would feel weird if I said, hey, Mr. Allen, Terry Allen. I'm not going to, so I just automatically called him Magnum. Somebody, I think it was DDP that said one time, it was weird to hear a fan call me Mr. Falkenberg because I'm DDP. So what are your thoughts on that? It is weird, right? To call you Kelly. That just means like, what's your deal?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're trying to be respectful, actually. I don't think they mean any harm by it.
Right.
Trying to be respectful. Some of them, they do it to, they're part of the team. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Trying to seem like they know a little bit more than they actually do. Yeah. Anyway, well, we got off on a tangent there, but yeah, my number 2 was the same as your number 2, so I'm happy.
All right, so we are at number 1. My number 1 most hated move is what I've got wrote down here, because I've just seen it done a couple of times. I'm not really sure who does it, who invented it, but I know there's other moves that go along with this, because the part of this that I hate is actually the person taking it. But I have written down that hanging move I hate.
Yeah.
So it's where the dudes they got their knees on the second rope.
Right.
Have their hands on the top rope, and they lean back to where their back is parallel to the ring mat.
Yeah.
So basically, here, I'm laying out in midair, come get me. And then usually, I think this was a finish, maybe in the corner, and the guy would come off with like a stomp or something.
Right.
I think I've seen it done a few different ways. But what makes me hate it the most is that person actually sits there and lays a straight body out in midair for no fucking reason. It just makes no sense at all. And it's the dumbest shit I have ever seen. Out of all those dumb things that I've named already, that is the world's dumbest.
Yeah. So basically, the guy is incapacitated enough to sit there, but not so incapacitated to somewhat hold himself there.
Right. he's so dazed. He's just hanging onto the ropes and laying straight out like he's levitating.
That is just, I agree. Yeah. Wow. I know the move you're talking about, because I've seen, it feels like a ton of people have done that move. Maybe, I don't know. Hey, listeners, go to Live Wolfie D, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and send us a DM. Tell us what that move is, or tell us who does it or whatever. But
don't forget, I want to hear their top 10s.
Totally, please, and put your top 10 out there too, because we want to hear your top 10 worst wrestling moves. Because maybe we missed something and we're gonna go, oh man, you're right. But I don't know, man. I wish I knew the name of that move, but I feel like it's gonna be like a gimmick name, of whatever that move is.
Yeah.
But yeah, ridiculous. So to go with number 1 on this, I think a lot of people are probably gonna go, you're an idiot, dude. But at the same time, the propensity of damage in real life that with this move and the specific person giving this move is the reason I put it as my number 1. So Kenny Omega's Snapdragon Suplex. So you know what a dragon suplex is, right?
I do not.
Okay, where they've got him in somewhat like a Benoit did it. I think, the suplex guys do it. And basically they have him in a full Nelson or somewhat. Okay.
The full Nelson.
And then they go back and they land on their upper neck and back of their head.
Yeah, yeah.
It basically makes you tuck your chin to take the move, But here's the thing. Kenny Omega adds a snap element to it. So, with a suplex is one thing, but then you add a snap suplex. That means what, Wolfie D?
A little quicker.
Yeah, you're moving with some speed. Now, again, I think Kenny Omega is extremely talented. And for right now, he has the potential to be one of the best wrestlers working right now.
Yeah.
Promos are horrible. He sounds like Siri, or like a version of Siri. He has no inflection to his tone. It is literally like he is reading something, and I can't stand his promos. But for everything he's bad on the promos, he's really talented in the ring. Also, he works through a lot of injuries, which has got to be respected as well. But I feel like he is going to hurt somebody, and I feel like if he hasn't already, it's soon, because the way he does it is he does it with that snap back force. The guy really doesn't have a chance. He doesn't throw them, by the way, either, Wolf. He basically holds it. Do you want to land? What is that right there?
No, I wouldn't want to take that. I've never taken that. I don't even really like taking Germans and say what you want. Because I'd have to really trust the person. But for that move, I don't give a fuck how much I trust you, man. Unless I was getting paid a whole bunch of money, I'm not taking shit like that.
Yeah, you're landing on your
I don't like that one.
Region.
And the one where the arms are down and they hook them that way. And then you don't even have your arms to protect your head.
Right. So ideally, to not get a concussion, you tuck your chin and you try to protect yourself to where your head doesn't snap back, correct?
Are you talking about on Kenny's move?
No, on any move. When you're taking a move to the back and you're doing a flat back bump, you tuck your chin to not bump your head.
Yeah. I mean,
you know, as a general consensus. I don't think this move allows you to do anything but, you know.
If you're in a full Nelson, the only thing you can do that I would do is before I get to the ground, I'm bending my elbows and grabbing like maybe the back of my neck or my head to take. I've had may have told this story before, but Bull Payne had a finish where he would hook you on the outside to the inside like a outside in suplex, except he would drag your feet to like your ankles were on the top rope and then DDT. So you're in suplex position, so you only got your right arm to help you there. And when he pulled me, my knee pads caught on the top rope, so he didn't keep pulling. So the angle of me going down was much more vertical than it needed to be.
Yeah.
To take care of myself. So as we're going down, all I could do, it was either my head, neck was going to get broken, or I put my forearm down to try to stop the force. And I mean, my head's still hitting everything, but my shoulder, when my forearm went down, my shoulder went out of socket. I mean, just
dude.
the way it wasn't supposed to. And yeah, it fucked my arm up real bad. So,
yeah.
Movies, man, guys they want their shit to look great and they don't care if it hurts you or not, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It sucks, man, because, you know, Kenny Omega to me seems like, you know, these guys that are all about these outstanding, like amazing feats of gymnastics or whatever, but the physics, they don't always take in the physics of having another person connected to you.
Right. That just don't work physics, man. They really don't think about that, man. There's, you know, I always thought it would be cool to do, and I've seen it done, but like as a kid thinking this, like to sit on the second rope and do like a Jerry Lawler style pile driver off the second rope. But then I realized the physics of that and the way you're coming down and all that, it just would be hard to pull off without killing somebody or it, you know what I mean? There's some things you really got to take into consideration of the physics of it.
Yeah. Have you ever, you know how the Owen Hart deal with Stone Cold, where basically Stone Cold's head got down below Owen's nuts. And
that's
like
a hard move, man, to do.
Yeah. And I've heard that Steve's heavy too. You know, Steve's. Now, have you ever noticed this? Okay, so I'm just going to ask you this since we're on this topic. So I've noticed with my son, all of his life, I think my son has like super dense bones or something, because even as a 5-year-old kid, he was like, oh my gosh, this kid is heavy. But then like my nephew, Paxton, so my son Cash, let's just say he was 5 years old, and my nephew Paxton at 5, he's like a feather, man. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not that they are necessarily that different in size or anything. Have you ever noticed that with like grown ass men? Like some dudes are just. Yeah.
I mean, that has a lot to do with, I don't know enough about science on the bone end of it, density wise. If I guess people's are different. I don't know. I guess they're older.
Yeah.
But I think that more than anything, it would have to do with muscle mass too.
Okay.
And maybe they got more muscle on them than the other kid, you know, but they're still shaped the same, you know.
Right. That could be it, because I know muscle weighs more than anything.
Well, I was just fixing to say, now I'm going to tell you this, not to say don't be dumb, and because most people, especially Michelle, when I tried to explain this to her, see, you always trying to make me feel stupid. No, I'm not trying to make you feel stupid. I'm just trying to make you realize that 1 pound of fat weighs the same as 1 pound of muscle. The difference is the density of the muscle is more. So a smaller piece of muscle weighs a pound. A bigger piece of fat weighs a pound, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
It's not weighs more. They weigh the same. A pound is a pound. It's one is just more dense than the other.
Now, are you telling me a pound of feathers and a pound of concrete is the same?
They're the fucking same.
You're a liar.
I don't know how many buildings you'd have to fill up with feathers to get a pound.
Build your house with feathers, people. We agree. It works. Wolfie's giving you okay on this. No, that's the truth. And, it's always funny when you hear people say that. Well, muscle weighs more than fat. That boy's 240 pounds of pure muscle. Now, if he's 240 pounds of pure fat, I can pick him up,
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a good point. But at the same,
really funny when people say, they see somebody really big or whatever. Yeah, when he gets older, that's all going to turn into fat. Muscle does not turn into fat. It does not happen.
Right.
Muscle can deteriorate
Sure.
and go away, and then you get fatter.
Sure.
But muscle does not magically transform into fat. That is fun to me too.
Yeah, no, and that's funny that I've heard that a million times. That boy, he's doing that now, but he's just going to end up fat when he's old. I mean, that could be true. It's all about how you eat and train and stuff. Yeah. That's so funny, but I've heard that a million times throughout my life, So. What's funny is too, when guys, like how the Warlord and Buff Bagwell and trying to think of specific guys that had they call them like roid bellies. Like,
yeah.
They're jacked to the gills.
Like the Iron Sheik and
yes, Iron Sheik.
CD and guys that were power lifters, Animal to a certain extent.
Animal, yes.
Have that fucking it's solid, but
right.
I think I'm built like that a little bit. Not that I'm a fucking power lifter, but
right.
No matter how much I diet and how much everything, man, I've always had just a little bit of a roundness there,
No, that's a good point. And I mean, I get that, but it's just funny because it's like I remember Buff Bagwell had it, and it was a 6-pack, maybe even an 8-pack, but it was just sitting further out than his chest. Right. It was just like, what is that? Because I mean, dude is ripped. I mean, but. I don't know. I'm not judging anybody. I wish I had a 6-pack. I've got a 6-pack in the fridge. Right. But other than that, I can't speak. So anyway, so that was my number one. I know we got off on another topic, but why don't we go into
Are you wanting to go to current affairs? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes. Say it, Wolfie. Say it.
All right, folks. We'll be right back with current affairs. DJ, hit the music.
You stole my line.
It's a current affair. It's a current affair. Love it in color. It's a current affair. Love it in color.
All right, we're back with current affairs. And, as always, there's always news in pro wrestling, whether it be important or major or not major at all. I guess it's all about what we make it. So the number one, I think right now is, of course, the deal with AEW and CM Punk. And apparently he got in a fight with the whole locker room and la-di-da. It's a work, it's a shoot, whatever. Well, they're either continuing this or it may be turning into a worked shoot, in that reports are saying now that CM Punk is pretty much going to be done with AEW and that an actual buyout is expected. So what do you think about that, man?
I mean, I don't know. It seems like that maybe something did happen. It's just, again, Jimmy, it's so hard to say because they could be working and nobody's going to know but them. I mean, that's wonderful if they are. If they're not, if it really happened and everybody's crying like this, again, though, you don't know. You're not there to know who's the dickhead here, who's getting fucked.
Yeah.
or what fucking I've told you my dealings with Punk have it was before he really was anything, or before he was anything, and then I know about the fight with him and Teddy Hart, and maybe he's hard to deal with. I don't know. It's kind of they tell you that he wasn't with me, like I said, but all I'm doing is calling shit in the ring with him, and before the matches and stuff. But
yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Like, so I think that he's got to be a pretty grouchy dude. He just seems really. I don't know, but again, he's like 42 years old. It's funny. I'm trying to find this. Kevin Nash recently said on his podcast, basically, Kevin Nash was in the ring with him, and something that CM Punk says, like, you're 55 years old and you're walking around on 2 sticks because your quad's always blowing out. And I'm very much paraphrasing this quote. Yeah. Long story short, he was calling him an old man, and Kevin Nash was actually showing up in the ring with him. And then now CM Punk is saying, I'm tired because let me see that. Here's what it is. So here's what Kevin Nash said. On the latest episode of his Click This podcast, Kevin Nash said that CM Punk is already tired and injury prone at age 42. Note that Punk is currently 43, noting that he was wrestling at age 55 and was on the receiving end of Punk making fun of his age during their 2011 feud. He added that overall Punk had a good run in AEW, but that he's a little bit of a prick, referencing that getting into making work shoot comments can lead to trouble. Here's what he said. At 42 years old, Phil's tired. He's beat up. I was in the ring at 55 when he was cutting a promo on me. Click, click. I can hear your knees or whatever. Thought you were dead. La-di-da. Yeah, that MFer is cutting that promo on me, and he sits there at 42 years old. I guess in retrospect, if I actually thought about it, oh no, he didn't lose his shit. That's toxic shock. He didn't pull his tampon out. He's got toxic shock syndrome. I thought about that. I said, man, I Googled him. 42, dude didn't wrestle for 10 years. It's like a 75 Eldorado with 102 miles on it. Yeah. Long story short, he's just like, you're complaining, you're saying you're tired, and then you made fun of me when I was in the ring 13 years older than you. Yeah. I don't know. I could see being very frustrated. If you don't like who you work with, if you're not happy, have you ever been in that situation where you just hate everybody in the locker room?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's I was never unhappy at
like a show that meant something. Right.
Real promotion.
Yeah.
Go to some of these other outlaw shows or whatever. And, oh my God, get me out of here.
It's like, did I already get my pay? Can I go on first? No, Wolfie, we're looking at you we got to get through 2 raffles. No, I'm just
yeah.
But
come back in a battle royal. No.
Yeah, we're going to come back in a battle royal. Yeah. So, but I don't know. I see Nash's point being that it's very hypocritical of him to make fun and say he's tired after a 10-year break too, by the way. So he hadn't been in the ring for 10 years. He got his head pounded on in UFC, but at the same time, I don't know. This, again, I think it possibly is a work, but also has ground in a shoot, So
yeah,
we'll go with that. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for Punk there.
Does the mainstream fan actually give a fuck?
I don't think so.
I don't either.
They're talking about Roman Reigns and Logan Paul. So speaking of that, basically, that's happening at Crown Jewel. People are kind of falling to pieces, saying other people deserve it. La-di-da. Here's the thing, man. Logan Paul brings so many followers from his social media. Plus, he's actually pretty good, So, hating on that don't hate on that. That's idiotic to me,
Yeah.
So, but
all of them, he was good. So,
yeah, I think he'll be fine. It does give it a bit of it's weird. It's like got this teeter-totter thing of, holy crap, this doesn't seem real, to this could be kind of cool, like kind of has a bit of a big fight feel. And, we'll see. I know it's going to be good. They're just, I feel like they're both professionals.
People pick at everything.
They really do. So, all right, speaking of picking, Ric Flair has hinted at possible in-ring return, saying he'd be fine if he had only hydrated. He claims the reason for his match not being good was that he was not hydrated. Now, he said he wanted to go in at a certain weight. I think 219 is what he said. He had an ideal weight that he wanted to go in. So he wasn't drinking. He wasn't doing anything to change that weight. Now, other people claim they saw him with several Michelob Lights in his hands or Michelob Ultras or whatever. I'm not judging the man. It's Ric Flair. If the dude wants to drink 30 beers, let him drink it. But at the same time, he said once he got out the ring, the doctor came up to him and said, hey, drink this. And he drank 2 Gatorades, and he said he could have gone back out there. He felt fine. I don't know. I hate to question the greatest wrestler of all time on things, but have you ever been super dehydrated and it caused you?
And that happened to me, but, alcohol will help with that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm sure he was training hard and everything, but I didn't see it with my own 2 eyes, but I'm pretty sure that he had a few there, and from what I had heard, he had been drinking through the week, and he had a whole weekend there, where the roast, all that shit, and alcoholic. That's kind of hard atmosphere not to drink in.
Totally. So,
I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. I can't judge nobody. I've been there, done that.
Sure. So, and that's not what we're going at here. I've always said that we're a judgment-free place.
We'd let it be what it was. There's no reason to do any more now. I mean, there's really for it.
Yeah, and I mean, he finished with "I'll never retire." Is what so I mean,
then what happens though? You had this big pay-per-view that did all this with the expectations and yada yada. You keep coming back, and that wears out its fucking welcome, man. And even Ric Flair could come back too many times to where people start going, not the time. Fucking Kiss does it all the time. It's like, are you gonna fucking quit or not? If you're not, just say you're not.
Yeah.
Quit calling it goodbye forever and see you later tour and know,
Right. Here's the thing. I'm anxious because I know the Rock and Roll Express are doing their official tour of their and they're wrestling all these tag teams. I'm anxious to see, let's say 2024 and a couple good amounts of money get payday to see they don't come back and do it, but I mean, again, wrestling, they've always said, never say never, right? Don't ever say never in wrestling. But at the same time, there's got to be a point where you got to call it. Now, again, I don't know that Ric Flair should have wrestled ever again past the Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania match, right? Okay. Yeah. Then apparently he had a pretty good match against Sting and TNA. That was another final match. And then now this one with Jeff and Jay Lethal and Andrade, his son-in-law. I mean, what am I to tell Ric Flair to not do it? But, dude, it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf, right? It starts to the boy who cried Wolfie. But I don't know. I mean, there's something cool about the idea of having this beautiful finish. I mean, in Nashville, honestly, I know you worked it, but I heard nothing but great things about the whole epic, deal. So yeah, I would be happy with that. Leave it there, So
yeah, the way I saw it too, you and I talked about what we thought was what we wanted to happen was it to be him and Lawler in a singles match. And once I watched that tag, I know why he couldn't do a singles match. And I don't think he could do a singles match with anybody. So he another tag again. And that's not really, you were a singles world champion. It's not really the same.
I agree. And I didn't like that it was a tag match either. And, yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? If it were, the Rock and Roll Express, go out in a tag match, but whatever. But yeah, I mean, like I said, pretty much that's it for current affairs today. Obviously, support our advertisers. We have some great ones. Benji Bowie, go buy a home from him. Mm-hmm. Go get some money from Jade Roper. At the same time. Mm-hmm. Medley Welding, Will Medley and the Medley Welding team. Go find them on Facebook. They're doing some top-notch stuff up there. Get him to fix your stuff or get him to make you something nice for your yard or outside. So take us out, brother.
Yeah. Again, thank you everybody for listening. I hope you enjoyed the top 10 series. And like I said, we want to hear what your top 10 is. We'd like to communicate with you guys. Hit us on our social media and give me your list.
Absolutely.
Tell me why mine's the shits. And if you're going to tell me mine's the shits, you better be able to back it up with some info.
Yeah. Or tell us a top 10 you want to hear. Like,
that too.
Yeah. Love to hear it.
We will cater to you all. But once again, thank you for listening. It's Wolfie D. And for Jimmy across the street saying, see you next week.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, the podcast that's based on the old school but can still help you find the good stuff from today. Jimmy Street and the Plastic Chic, Jared, are the undisputed tag team champions of the wrestling podcast world. From thought-provoking topics to superstar interviews to action figure expertise. This team does it all, and all they ask is, give me back my pro wrestling! Every other Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
That's right, it's the talk of Middle Tennessee, the channel you love to hate and the channel you hate to love. It's Brian Turner from Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. And if you're looking for matches from Wolfie D to Jerry Lawler to Dusty Rhodes and the team that put a pimp before your eyes and a goatee between your thighs, Booty Call and Athena, go to lostwrestling.com. See, I made it easy for you. Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. Booyah.
If you're a fan of rock and music, I'd really appreciate it if you took a moment to check out my podcast. It's called the Decibel Geek Podcast. We've been doing it for about 10 years now. We talk about Kiss. We talk about Ozzy. We talk about Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses and Metallica. We talk about all the legends from the 60s and on, up to brand new bands that you should be hearing about today that you're not going to hear on the radio. It's Decibel Geek. Wherever you find your podcasts, you'll find us there. If you love rock and roll, I can almost guarantee you're going to love my show.
Hey everyone, this is Shane from Insane Shane's World. I release wrestling figures of enhancement talent, mid-card wrestlers, and wrestlers that you never thought would have a figure available. So if you're interested in adding a really cool and rare figure to your collection, then don't hesitate to contact me at shamtheman73@gmail.com. That's SHAMtheman73@gmail.com. You can also join my Facebook group. Just search Insane Shane's World.
So that was another great episode. Hey, Wolfie, tell them where they can find you on social media.
Jimmy, they can find me in the club, bottle full of bub. I'm just kidding. They can find me on Facebook. My personal page is Warren Wolf, WOLFE. I'm on Instagram at WarrenWolf13.
You can always find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Live Wolfie D. Here's the thing. Wolfie always has offers for his autographed photos. He has a selection of some awesome photos from throughout his career that he will autograph and personalize any way that you want him to. Just contact him either directly at his personal Facebook page or through any one of our other pages, and we'll make sure you get in contact directly with Wolfie. Get those photos, right, Wolfie?
Yeah, I've got some good stuff on there, to help with the podcast.
Folks, if you can't get out to a show to meet Wolfie D, there's nothing like that, especially for the fans of PG-13 and Wolfie D. And before we go, you can always find me, your host, Jimmy Street, at jamesrockstreet on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
And hey, Jimmy, before we go real quick, I just want to add in there, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate, first of all, the work you've done for this podcast. You have worked your butt off. Secondly, the people that are liking the page. Beyond that, even more, is the people that are listening, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, and remember, guys, the podcast drops a new episode every Monday at noon, and our past episodes are streaming now on demand on all major podcast formats. Thanks again.
I got a cap for you, don't. He got a cap for you, don't. I got a cap for you, don't. He got a cap for you, don't. He got a cap for you, don't.
And here we go. The original white boy that came out sagging, not bragging, don't be hating, cause I'm spitting the truth. Still livin' in color, bum rush your mother, utilize a hubcap, I'm like any other. Back in the day, I was N-O-D, and I was P to the G, plus the 1 and the 3. In case you forgot, they call me Wolfie D. Been cloned and copied so many times, tired of suckers taking credit for what is mine. You know who you are, without me name dropping. Wrestling's first white boy coming out hip-hopping. Been doing it like this since 92. Laid low for a while and you thought I was through. Listen real close to these rhymes that I've injected. This shit's so sick it makes your ears get infected. Mad skills, no faking, there is no one great. Cause I'm bringing more folks than Obi-Wan or Vader. Not here to play games, so you better beware. You don't like me, so what? I really don't care. Like time I keep ticking and I can't be stopped. You sucker step to the side unless you wanna get dropped. When I finish, I'll straight knock you out. Please allow me to tell you what it's all about. I'm gonna wind it up, then I'm driving it home. It's Wolfie D, baby. I got a cap for your dome. I got a cap for your dome. We got a cap for your dome. We got a cap for your dome.
This has been a James Rock Street production.